Hello and welcome to Sounding Board, a community access television production of Seroptimus International of Novato. My name is Madeline Peters and I am the moderator for today's show. I have as our guest Curtis Aikens, well-known celebrity chef and man of many talents. But before I turn the show over to Curtis, just a word about Seroptimus. Seroptimus is an international organization whose goal is to advance the status of women and girls locally and internationally. Curtis is well known for his involvement in food on the Food Network, writing cookbooks on food writing columns, and he has appeared as a member of Sounding Board on a previous show, just talking about his whole role in as a person who motivates others. Well, Curtis, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to let you.
Can I get a hug first before you get going?
Sure.
No, you stay with me, right? You're not going to leave, right?
I'm staying right here.
Oh, awesome.
But the big thing today is for you to. We were talking about how does a mom and dad plan a budget for a meal plan. So, and your ideas, I know, are fantastic, so take it away.
This is one of the ideas that is near and dear to my heart, and I'm glad you all decided to join us this afternoon, today, tonight, this morning, whenever you're watching us. But the idea of feeding a family of 4, that's the concept, on $4 per meal.
$4 per meal, okay.
Right, so that's $12 a day
to
feed your family of 4. And it can be done. And people go, whoa, that's a really slim budget. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this is fun for me. You know, my son.
Well, I know that.
I love food. I love cooking. I love watching people cook. I love being a part of the kitchen. And one of the jobs I feel like being the Pied Piper of the culinary. Not so much the gourmet, because there's so many cats doing that right now. I mean, there's guys and women that are cooking for, you know, the super rich. But who's helping mom and dad who's on a budget? You know, and that goes back to my roots in television. When I met Julia Child and Paul Prudhomme the same day, and I served them this meal that was so simple, and they both said it's wonderful, and it cost me like $4 to put this thing together. I did fresh pickled melons, a salad, and some sautéed. I can't remember what it was. It was some meat that I sautéed, but the fresh pickled melons was simply watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, with a little bit of sugar. One of my staples, right? A little bit of vinegar, okay? Some dill, right? A little tarragon. And just turned it over, chilled it, served it, and she goes, oh my Lord, this is fabulous.
But I think that's the thing that really struck me about when we talked about your topic for today is, as you said, the emphasis is always on gourmet meals and gourmet chefs and all of that, and that's completely out of the range of the family struggling to survive. One of the things that really struck me as you were talking too is the whole idea of planning meals, establishing a budget and planning meals. So I'll let you kind of take.
Okay, and ask, just jump in.
Thing.
Well, it's not new. It's old school.
But it's not what most people do.
I do now. But when we go back, right? My grandfather was the best farmer I knew, organic farmer I knew. But he never said he was an organic farmer. He just farmed. That's the way it was. My mother, you know, is my hero. I mean, my mama, you're talking about farthering the cause of women, my mama is it, okay? And my 3 sisters are it. They're great mothers. My brothers are, and we all learned from mom. But mom would take a nickel and could stretch it. I think I told the story earlier before we got to taping. It took her a year to save the $50 for the down payment on the house that she still lives in. So she talked about budgets, and she ran a business. Moms and meal planners who take care of the family budget, you run a business. So let's think of it like that, a business. That first meal is breakfast. So one of the things we talked about earlier, the fact that you need to communicate with your family. I'm a single dad. My children's mom's a single mom. Okay, so we communicate that she'll call up, and I got to give her credit for that. She would say, well, are you feeding cold tonight? And I go, yeah, if you want, or I'm going to be out. So it helped her plan her meals. And then for me, I plan who's going to be at my house. If I'm just dining myself, it could be a baked potato and a salad. But if Cole's there, my big 6'4", 200 bing, 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 pound son, I've got to have protein. I've got to have a starch. I've got to have all the things around the table. Okay, so moms, dads, who's ever in charge of the meal, let's start with breakfast. Who's going to have breakfast on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Okay, who's going to have lunch, or do we have to prepare lunches to go to school? Or
so you're thinking, you're thinking, which is it's not just catch as catch can. Then
yes.
It's really being thoughtful
yes.
about each meal. And you talked about a daily plan, and you were
right.
alluding to a weekly plan.
Right, exactly, and that plan, this goes back to those old school ideas of talking with the kids, finding out if they're going to be home for dinner, if they've got football, baseball, basketball, if they're going to have dinner later. You know, and as many women are playing basketball now as guys are,
right.
and as many girls are playing on the women's golf team as on the male golf team. So find out what their schedules are, and also it's going to help you with the prep. Now going back to the $4, we've got breakfast, we've got lunch, we've got dinner. Family of 4, okay? So that gives us $12 a day. How do you do it? You think about it. Eggs. And I was talking earlier about the idea of having your staples. There are things that we have to build.
The things that you have here on the table.
Right.
I think I was struck by, you know,
the diversity.
The diversity of things, and then how far these items can go in meal prep.
Now just look at our table here. I've got, from starting on my left, we've got beans. We've got bread, a whole grain bread, right? Then I've got oils. And my mom loved corn oil. Therefore, I love corn oil.
So you're following your family tradition.
Exactly. Now, in front of that, I've got some olive oil. But you know what? I can buy, for this little bottle of olive oil, I can get 2.5 bottles of the corn oil.
Okay.
So what can we do with oil? Wow. From sauteing and frying to add a little bit of this vinegar, right? And I've got my oil and vinegar dressing.
Your salad dressing.
My salad dressing. Exactly. Okay.
So you don't have to go the boxed prep stuff.
You can do it yourself.
yourself.
And I remember a couple of times, Cole, my youngest son, he loves, well, all my kids, Catherine, my daughter, my son Curtis Jr., and Cole, they love food. So we used to do this game. You guys go out and try to buy food before I can get a meal prepared, right? I always won. Okay, so you run down to whatever the fast food joint is or whatever the deli is, and by the time you leave the house, I'm going to start a meal. And before you get back in the door, my meal is going to be going on the table. Always one.
So that really dispels the myth that the fast food option is the quick option.
It is not. It's not. Well, listen to me. I get so. Can I jump? Can I?
You can. Yeah, but not too high.
Pat,
not too
high. Right? Okay. Pat, our camera person on camera 2, is like, Curtis, stay on the ground. Okay. But I get excited about this. And I want you guys at home to get excited too about 2 things. One, talking with your kids, with your family, with your husband, with your wife, with whomever is there with you. 2, talking with your kids. Okay? Well, that's the 1 and 2, talking to the family.
Right.
The second thing is preparing these meals. I love cooking. I love shopping. I love thinking about the meal. So have fun with it. People that dread it, I really want to give a seminar on the fact that, you know, when you love someone, can you think of anything better than preparing a meal prepared with love to put on the table?
Not at all. And that's the important thing
Exactly.
in a relationship. Yeah.
We break bread.
Yeah.
You know, we share everything over the table. Now, let's talk about some of these staples. And I've said this to you and the crew earlier when we have a little production meeting, that when you think back to the chuck wagon days, what was on the chuck wagon?
Oh, your basics. It was like flour and sugar. And
I'm gonna hold these so you guys at home can see. There's our flour.
Okay, there's your flour.
Okay. Sugar.
Sugar, probably salt.
Salt, bingo, salt of the earth. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And a couple of other things. I'll let you
If you were
add.
lucky, we had some pepper, right? But that wasn't always on the table. There was bacon on the chuck wagon. They always had bacon.
Wagon,
oh, and I was going to show you guys. See, I'm getting ahead of myself by pulling that bacon up. I'm going to show you. Here's the bacon. Okay, that's bacon we can find nowadays in the store. But the idea being with bacon, right? You can, if you fry the bacon, then there's that oil, and of course we want to cut down on those saturated fats.
Right.
So I'm not saying save the bacon fat like Mama did, but let me tell you something. You know,
it tastes awfully good.
It tastes awfully good. And when that bacon is that oil's in the pan, and you fry those taters, oh girl. But I'm not saying do that every day.
Exactly. Just again, using the things that you have that are flavorful, because something like that is it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's
for all 3
flavorful.
meals, right?
So not for all 3 meals, exactly. But as one of Julia Child's quote was, moderation. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Bingo, right? Okay, so fried potatoes once a week or so in that bacon fat, it's cool in the gang. Like for Cole on game days, whether it's football or lacrosse, and I actually put this on the Facebook a few times, Cole's game day breakfast. And it was a couple of extra strips of bacon, because normally it's just 2.5 strips of bacon I'll do, okay? And I would fry the potatoes in the bacon fat, and he likes his eggs over medium, okay? So we do the eggs over medium, and 2 pieces of whole wheat toast, along with juice, right? Now, we live in California. I have an orange tree in my backyard, okay? A lot of folks have lemon trees. So again, thinking about what we can do to make our meals less expensive, more nutritious. So I can do fresh squeezed orange juice pretty much year round out of my
out of your backyard.
Out of my backyard. Now my neighbor has a Meyer lemon tree, so we trade lemons. Lemons for oranges, right? Another neighbor has fruit trees, so when the fruit trees come in, we trade. You know, we got this whole thing on the neighborhood.
So you're changing the concept of food preparation and shopping. It's not just the store. It's looking at what you have around you.
Right. But I want to stay on this because
okay, that's fine.
In the next show we can talk about this idea of the co-op idea, where co-ops truly came from, and the idea that like 2 neighbors down has hens, fresh eggs. Wow. Anyway, okay. So back to staples. Back to our staples, right? Beans. And I've just picked up 4 beans tonight, today. I've got pintos, I've got red kidney, I've got a white bean, and I've got a pink bean, okay? Dry beans. Okay? Now, I like to hydrate my beans overnight before I'm going to cook them, but very seldom will I do the whole package of beans.
Just again, portion control or management.
Portion control.
And not too many people complaining about too many leftovers.
Thank you very much. Okay, so remember that, gang. When you're at home and you're thinking about your meal, say, do we really need a pound of beans tonight?
Well, that brings up one of my children. This is years ago, because I was always making quantities because cooking and working was always very complicated, right. And he accused me of making leftovers. My meals were all leftovers. And so, but your point is well taken. Just the portion control and cooking what you need for the meal.
Right. If we're going to have the family of 4, now in my house is a family of 2, but a lot of times we have. You
have guests. Yeah.
I mean, football playing boys.
I would imagine your son brings home a couple of people for dinner when they're. Father's a chef and is going to cook.
Well, I don't know about that chef part, right? I just like to cook. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But the football boys, and then also Andy is like Cole's best friend. They're like brothers, okay? So they show up, and one night I made succotash, right? And of course the 2 boys show up, and then everyone else. And you know how succotash, you can just stretch it.
Oh yes.
Keep throwing stuff. You got corn, you got this, right? And so the boys say, hey, Coach, they call me Coach Chef, how about making some more of that sucker stuff? Fellas, if you can't say the name right, you don't get the meal. Anyway, back to our steak. So we've got our beans, right? Now, what I want to say about the beans, if you have some left over, right? And one of the ways to prepare the beans is a little more water, okay? Just add a little more water to them, then they won't get cakey, right? They won't get sticky on you. Then think about it. You've got these 4 different beans. If you want to cook a little, you can make a 4-bean salad by adding a little bit of relish over there to it.
Okay.
Right? And again, this is not gourmet. This is down-home, country, good. Well, I shouldn't say country. This is just like, and I'm not even saying depression food.
But it's like basic staples, because that's a protein source right there.
There's a protein. Now, you've got your rice here. Another one of my staples in the cupboard. I want to keep rice. Okay. I remember doing a show with LeVar Burton, Reading Rainbow. LeVar and I did a show, and it was the chemistry of cooking. And we took a little bit of rice and how it blows up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that blows up, and just so if you really got a tight week where the budget's thin, let's do rice, beans. Okay. A little bit of salad, right? Right. And I got some of that bacon. Boom, we got a balanced meal right there, okay? A balanced thing. And if you've got tortillas as opposed to bread, you can roll up, make a little tortilla
and add that kind of variety.
Exactly, a little variety to it, right? Okay, so we got the rice that blows up and really fills you up. It's a nice filler, okay? So rice, beans, all right?
Okay.
Good combination. A little salad, great meal. Boom. Okay, now you've had rice tonight. You got a little leftover rice tomorrow, but you need another starch. That's why I talk about potatoes.
And that bacon?
Well, we're not going to fry the potatoes this time, right? But for me, when I'm home, when I don't have Cole home or the kids coming over, a baked potato and a salad is a great dinner for me. You know, and the more mature we become, because I ain't gonna ever get old, okay? The more mature we become, the less, you know, fuel we need. You know, you don't need
That's
fuel.
true. You don't need the big elaborate meals.
Yeah, we don't need that big ribeye or 3 strips of bacon or, you know, a big old piece of chicken. I like chicken, but not a big piece of chicken. But when the kids are there, I go crazy, right? Okay, now, so I got my potatoes. And these are 2 things I want to talk about, potatoes and onions. Onions add so much flavor. They can go in your salad, they can go in your beans, they can go in your salad dressing. So the onion, right? And for a produce person, one of the old saying was, you have to know your onions because you got to get down the layers to really understand the onions. Right. You have to peel down to get to it. And onions, there are so many varieties. From the spring onions, that little green ones, some call scallions, or, you know, beautiful. You can saute them. They can be added to salads. You can put them on the grill. You can tie them in knots, dip them in peanut butter. I actually meant to bring peanut butter, too, as one of my staples because...
I'd never heard that idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Think of a peanut sauce. But remember, with all the allergies out there, be careful when you you make sure
you have to be careful who your audience is, or who the guests at your table are.
Exactly. And I want to show you one other thing here goes in that onion family. I got a little bit of garlic, okay? And not to keep the evil spirits away, just to bring the wonderful flavor in, okay? And remember, a little there's a clove. Whoops, there we go. That little bit of garlic goes a long way, okay? So crush it, chop it, mince it. Again, can go in our salad dressing, can go into our salad.
Everything you're doing, you're talking about, at least what I'm hearing too, is just a little, the small meal, the small serving, you know, not the big piece of meat or the garlic clove, or just using things to enhance flavor. And so you're talking about balanced diets, you're talking about staples, but you're also talking about portion control as well.
Exactly. Years ago, I did a thing with, I think it was Harvey Pasternak, who I guess Harvey got it. He's a trainer. He got his note of his big fame break was becoming Halle Berry's trainer. He got her in shape for the 007 movie. So he and I'm trying to think of who were other people. We were invited to New York to work on a Slim Fast presentation, and one of the things I came up with, this is way back 20 years ago, is the idea of portion control. You see the palm of your hand. Everyone look at the palm of your hand. Right. That's a portion. Okay, my palm is bigger than yours, so I get a bigger portion. I mean,
I don't know if that's fair.
But that's right, it's right. But when you think about that, that's I'll do it that way. Okay, that's about as much steak as you need, chicken you need, beans. But now, my system is more of a vegetarian system than it is a carnivore. So I will eat a lot more vegetables than I will the meat. Okay, like I said, the more mature I become, the less fuel or different fuel I need. Okay. And
then you adjust the size of your portions, but that certainly seems to be the message that we're hearing in the media anyway. It's the portion control. It's certainly eating a balanced meal.
Right.
You're adding the economics of it
into
this as well.
And we were talking about the fact earlier that this right here, I look at just this table, what's on the table, and I can feed Cole, myself, Andy, and another friend.
So 4 people.
4 people with these things on this table for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks with this stuff on this table. Now look at the staples I have. And I talk about these as being staples. Jam. Strawberry jam, right?
Okay, all right. So you're going to have to explain that a little bit to me.
I was waiting for you to ask, right? So I've got flour, I've got oil, I've got an egg. Okay, I try to keep the eggs, we can trade off, you know. I can make pastry with that, right?
Really?
Oh yeah. And I can add a little jam for that's special to it, right? But I really don't even need the eggs for this. I got water, cold water, and I got oil. I can knead my dough, but I really would like to have some shortening. So when my budget allows it, I'd buy some Crisco. And well, didn't mean to say Crisco. I'd buy some shortening so I can make my dough, right? Okay? And really make that, roll it out, and we can make all kinds of wonderful pastries just with that, right? Then other staples, because I know we're kind of running thin on time, right? Let me show you this. This is what we call the country boys, country persons. How you like that?
I love it. I love it.
Salad dress, Thousand Island. Mayo, mustard, ketchup, okay?
Okay.
Whip it up, adjust the color, and then you add some relish to it, and that's a down-home Thousand Island dressing.
So you're, just with what you've said so far, with this and then talking about the oil and vinegar and your salt, and this completely eliminates the need to purchase prepared dressings.
How much does the cheapest salad dressing you're going to get on sale is buy one, get one free at wherever. And you're looking at, let's say, $1.79, right? So you're spending $1.79, right, for that dressing. Here, I can make that dressing. Oh, let's see how many ounces I've got here. 32 ounces. I can make that 7 times.
So that's another source of economizing,
right?
And it's plus making things fresh as well.
Exactly, going fresh as well. But
I
then
wonder how many
back,
bottles of dressing I've thrown away after they've been in the refrigerator for
Too
several
long.
months. Yes.
So and truly at home at night, I make that dressing for me. And that's as country as it gets. But to go upscale, if you want to make, if your budget allows it, buy like a Grey Poupon, that type of mustard, bit of garlic, lemon juice, vinegar, okay, and a bit of oil. Whip it up. You got the classic French dressing. I got that dressing en Paris. You know, I'm trying to think of the name of the restaurant that they gave it, because I'm thinking, this is the most incredible salad. And he goes, so did you say French dressing? I said, no, it's not like a French dressing we have at home. It's pink. And, so it was incredible. I wanted to show you, before we run out of time, I want to go back the way I think about my meal prep, starting at the week. The ads come here in Marin.
Right. You did bring some
Tuesday.
food. So again, this, to me, when you pull up these ads, it's back to that overall planning and the moving off to, oh, what do we have now, and you know, meal to meal. But again, being thoughtful about it. So go ahead about.
I want you all to think about it. Now, for me, Tuesday, it comes Tuesday. I really look at this on Wednesday, and I go through the stores in our town, Novato, California. We've got Whole Foods, we've got Safeway, we've got Lucky, we've got, and I'm trying to name them all, so I'm not saying I choose one over the other. Harvest Market. If I left someone out, Trader Joe's. Right. Okay, we've got Paradise Market. We've got all these markets, right? And for me, 3 of them are in walking distance. So we've got 2 concepts. The fact that I can walk to the market, so my carbon footprint is smaller, right? The idea that I'm going to shop them all, I'm keeping my dollars local. Another idea. Right. And then I'm going to shop them by first looking at their ad. And what I do is I don't look for the things on sale. I'm not looking for coupons. First thing I'm looking for are my staples if they're on sale. That's the first thing I look for, my staples, if I'm running low on them. Because when we talked about this idea earlier, you know, you could save yourself in the poorhouse.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think that's been my problem too, is looking for things that are on sale. I'm going, do I really use this?
Exactly. And that's what I want you guys at home to think of. Think about what you use, what your family likes. I have a can of tuna here just as a demo. Now, we love tuna.
Right.
Cole and I, you know, the kids that come over, everyone loves tuna. And right now, because I've gotten it on sale, and I got, I think we had it at 59 cents a can when I got it. So I bought like bunches because I know it's going to last. But then tuna came on sale again. I thought, wait a minute, I've got 20 cans. I don't need any more tuna.
So people have to be thoughtful.
Yes.
And they have to know what their inventory is.
Yes.
And not just go out and add to something.
Not just go nilly-willy.
But again, look at the plan and look at the staples. Okay.
Exactly.
All
now,
right.
Pasta. This 2-pound thing of pasta, I think I got for 99 cents. I have to go back and look at my receipts. But it was on sale, and I go, okay, because we love pasta.
Sure.
And if you want to do a pasta primavera, I've got the stuff on the table.
Right,
you know?
right. All of your vegetables?
Right there. All my vegetables there. I love carrots, tomato. I've got my salt, my pepper. I can add anything on this table to it. Now, an ingredient I'm showing as a staple, but it's not really. It's kind of that extra thing when you have it. Is I buy cocoa, some type of chocolate. You can add that to your chili to spice it up. You can add that to your. You can make your cookies. You can do all kinds of things with this cocoa, right? You can add a little sugar to this. To your milk and make your hot chocolate milk, those types of things. Milk is another thing we love having around the house. But a gallon of milk nowadays is like what? At the best price right now is $3.79 a gallon. That kind of cracks your $4 thing right there.
Yes, right.
Okay, so you got to stretch it out through the week. You got to figure out how you're going to use it in my mashed potatoes, right? When I'm going to make a pasta with a cream sauce, I'm going to use, if you want to cut down your calories, moms and dads, instead of using heavy cream, I use milk, a little bit of flour, and I reduce it more. Okay. Now,
do you have all these things that you talked about the last 20 minutes? Do you have them written down someplace?
Of course I do. And on my website, they're going to be on the Seroptimus website if you want. I've got a little piece of paper with all this stuff right here. See that? You know?
Okay.
My cheat sheet. But it's moms, dads, meal planners, make it fun. One of the things I have always said from back in my days at the home show is that get the kids involved in preparing the meal. Get the kids involved in planning the meal. Get the family involved. If they're involved, they take ownership, they're going to eat more. They're going to eat right. They're going to make better choices.
Eat at home.
Eat at home.
Eat at home.
Great point.
This is a shift in the way people are thinking and behaving.
Right.
Again, the long-term planning, the concept of communication, the staples that you're talking about, balancing nutrition, making meals attractive, making it fun.
Making it fun. This really goes right back to my mom, her mom, the European concept, the African concept, the idea that, we're right here at home. Okay? We're around the table, we talk about it. We need to plan. And I love that planning. I love it with a passion.
Well, that actually comes through very clearly. We need to start kind of wrapping up a little bit,
okay.
but I want you to think about, go ahead and run through the staples.
Real quickly.
You said that everyone really understands what we're talking about in terms of your basic.
The basic staples I want you to have at home: salt, pepper, sugar. Okay. This is funny. In the African American community, there are 5 mother sauces. Not the Bordelaise. It's ketchup, mustard, mayo, hot sauce, right? That's the mother sauces, right? Because you can do so much with that right there. Anyway, but I want you to keep things that you can, like that when it comes to the fresh veggies, fresh produce items. I want onions, potatoes. Onions, potatoes. Okay, they keep for 2 weeks in a cool, dark place. If they're outside, they start to sprout. That's when I want you to get rid of them. When they start to sprout, don't use them.
So no buying 10 pounds of potatoes. Buy what you need, or
well, 10 pounds of potatoes I like, but I keep them in the coolest spot in the house.
Okay.
Okay, the darkest, coolest spot, so they don't sprout. Okay. Once they start sprouting, the photosynthesis takes place, and that stuff is not good for the system. Okay. Okay. Onions, when they start to sprout, that they start to grow.
You're right.
And that green shoot sucks all the moisture, all the nutrition out, so you're just eating a shell. And I don't want that to happen, okay? Now, the staples again: salt, pepper, sugar. Those are the things we need, right? Okay, when you start having a little more in your budget, more money in your budget, you can add kind of a seasoned salt. But a basic seasoned salt, whatever brand you use, to that you can add a little more pepper. You can add garlic salt when you have more in your budget to make your own special seasoned salt that stretches longer. Herb de Provence. It's an extravagant item. We got to go. Go to the website, curtisaikens.com, for more tips. All the items you see on the table here are the staples. And you got to invite me back. Oh, okay. One last quick tip. Do we have time for it?
Yes.
Okay. I bought a freezer. I saved up and bought a freezer. It cost me $130 at, I think it was Best Buy. And when I find meats on sale, I buy them, I freeze them, I put them in portions.
Portion size.
That's two legs, quarters, right? That's the thigh and the leg, right? Cole loves that. Curtis Jr. likes the breast. So when I find those, I do it. And a lot of times I cut them up. So anyway, use your freezer. I've got the bacon. I got this.
And we can check your website and invite you back for more information.
Anytime.
I would like to thank you, Curtis, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. This is Curtis Aikens on planning meals for a family of 4 on $4 per meal, and stocking your pantry with basics so that you can do that, building communication among your family members to eat at home, eat well, eat simply, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. I want to thank the Seroptimus International of Novato members who serve as camera crew for today's program. They're the behind-the-scenes people that put this all together. And I also want to thank Leon Johnson and Rick Tucker from Novato Public Access Television for working with us for so many years to make this all possible. Thank you very much. Again, thank you, Curtis.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Seroptimus International of Novato, and we'll look forward to other information from Curtis in later programs. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun. Ooh, okay.
Oh.